Hello and welcome back to Jesus Christ, Great Golems
Lava
of
golem.
Fire!
He sits. He splits.
He throws giant meteors at you that you can shoot in order to actually in order to stop them from coming near you.
He throws flaming balls of
Now,
shit.
Well, fire, but yes. Now, this is the only time we'll actually fight this particular version of the giant lava golem, and you'll notice that his health is actually going down relatively quickly thanks to the rocket launcher. However, you should also notice that as he's taking damage, he's spawning minions.
Oh, they're just.
This is the gimmick. This is the gimmick for the lava golems throughout the entire game. Every single version of the lava golem that you fight off starts off as a bunch of smaller golems put together.
And then as you
kill the larger golems, the smaller golems start happening.
When the smaller golems start happening, you got that many more projectiles coming right at you.
Yep. So how you're supposed to do this fight, to be perfectly honest, is take him down about halfway the first time and then start dealing with the ads that have spawned. Then you can finish him off however you want.
So you can kill the smaller ones?
Yes, you can kill the smaller ones. They actually have, a significantly less health because,
down they go.
Golems.
Now big guy's gotta go.
Alright, big guy is gone, now we gotta take down all of his kids. The smallest versions of the lava golem actually fall to a single shot of the coach gun, and that's honestly how I recommend dealing with those. However, the medium-sized versions of the golem tend to require a couple of rockets or a couple of seconds under the chain gun.
The small guys are kind of cute, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they're kind of cute. I have puppies.
I wouldn't let those guys watch your puppies. You'll have some hot dogs.
Yeah, but yeah, that is the only time that we will fight the boss version of the lava golem. However, from here on out, the lava golem will be an intermittent enemy. Usually in like large open.
The second to last level. Am I right? It's either the second to last level or the last level. Who cares?
He doesn't show up in the last level. I think there are a couple that show up in the second to last level, but I don't really remember. It's been a while since I've recorded this footage.
Well, I was thinking, again, I keep going back to Streets of Rage as though it's like the quintessential game, which actually is mostly just derivative of other games. But I also remember that the second to last, actually the very last level at least, was a boss rush. Go through all the mini bosses. You go all the regular bosses.
But that's how brawlers and beat 'em up games worked in the 90s.
See, look how far you progressed. Yeah, these aren't bosses to you anymore. You're fucking so badass. You get to watch them waddle up half their size and throw shit at you.
Anyway, here we are in Thieves, the Karak portion of Thieves. This temple is based around exactly one puzzle, and we'll spend the entirety of, I believe, this part and the next part attempting to solve that puzzle. Also, more frogs.
Zombies. Frogs. Lots of frogs. Hippity hop.
Hello, Syrian werewolf, just coming out of nowhere.
There's a Syrian werewolf in here? Damn.
Yes, it knocked us up. See, right there.
But he can't take out the pillars. If this was a game made 2006 or later, he would be able to take out the pillars.
If this was a game made in 2004 or later, he'd be able to take down the pillars.
So why are we going to be stuck on a puzzle for the rest of this part?
Because the puzzle is completely centered around us getting two items that are on polar opposite sides of the level.
Damn. Serious Sam can't sprint. He can only Sam.
I mean, he technically is sprinting constantly. He has a walk button.
Oh, so his button lets him slow down.
Yes, he can walk. It's just that because this is the PC era, because this is the PC era of, you know, shooters, characters have auto run enabled by default.
Yeah.
And splat him. We have splatted the clear.
Back of the head.
I will say that I actually like Thieves at night. It looks well at sunset rather, because that's what's happening right now. The skybox in particular looks really goddamn gorgeous. The atmosphere of the crickets playing when you're not in combat is pretty nice, and you know, it really feels like we're in ancient Egypt while we're going through this stuff. Until we get interrupted during cutscenes.
Fishboard Blaster.
Oh, dude, it's not Fishboard Blaster. Come on, Fishboard Blaster is still... Actually, I don't think Fishboard is banned.
Why would they unban Fishboard?
I think they gave Fishboard Blaster a specific errata that makes it so that either he's once per turn or the cost is higher. One of the two.
They really should. You know what? You mentioned that, and it's true. If Konami has a problem with any of the cards because they did not design them correctly when they first came out, then they should just make an errata of them to make them playable again.
Well, that's what they did with a bunch of the Forbidden List. They specifically Crush Card Virus, Witch of the Black Forest, Sangan, and Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy at the end all got major erratas and are now actually legal for play. Problem is that their erratas made them so much worse that
they're not
nobody
even
actually plays them.
Well, they're off the list. We don't need these.
Yeah, they're off the list now, but you weren't playing them anyway.
Now you'll never have to play them again. Good day, sir. Yeah, isn't Sangan's thing like you're not allowed to summon the creature that you got during the same turn?
No, I think Sangan got his grab pushed to the end phase.
Oh, okay.
That way you couldn't actually loot resources.
So basically, you're gonna go into effect failure or honest half the time.
Yeah. Well, assuming that those cards were actually being played right now, they flat out aren't. There aren't any really powerful light attribute decks, so Honest isn't seeing play. I mean, I think Spirals are light attribute, but Spirals are one of the big things that I have to give shit for Yu-Gi-Oh for right now is a lot of the archetype decks are so goddamn tight that their combos are absolutely absurd, but they have no room for tech cards. Like, absolutely no room for techs. You literally just run a majority of the archetype members with a little bit of anti-meta disruption, and there's your entire damn deck.
Well, yeah. Welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh!
I know it's been that way for like years now, but ever since it started going that way, I've had huge problems with the fucking game.
That's because they've always operated on the premise that as long as the archetype requires that you use only the cards in the archetype for the most part, that it's balanced, because it's like a lock and key. You can't make like a joint kingdom with the prince and princes of two master decks. You have to choose either one or the other. At the same point though, the archetypes themselves are so stupidly powerful that, like, yeah, why would you even want to use other cards? These things are powerful enough.
The main point that I have against that particular mentality is Lightsworns. Lightsworns were absolutely ubiquitous and splashable and everything because they just made your deck much faster. You didn't honestly you didn't actually care about the mill so much, because unless it was like turn 15 or 20, which games flat out would never get to, your deck actually was able to survive getting milled and was flat out faster for getting milled.
Right, because milling creates card advantage, and if I treat it...
Well, it creates potential.
No, it creates actual card advantage, because card advantage is just getting cards out of your deck.
In Yu-Gi-Oh's case, you know, because a lot of the decks have access to a
graveyard recursion, banish pile searching, all that good shit. Yeah, it's a lot of the cards, a lot of the most powerful decks. What do? They search your deck, they thin it, they get the cards out, they get cards out of your extra deck. Just everything is just piling out really, really fast. And yeah, if you have fewer cards in your deck, then there's a greater chance you're going to draw that one card that you need.
I miss the end of the GX era, dude. I really do.
It's no longer, it's more like fart of the cards now.
Well, here's the thing. I say that I missed the end of the GX era, and that would have been the dawn of Lightsworns. But when Lightsworns came out, they weren't honestly, aside from Judgment Dragon, they weren't honestly that big of a goddamn problem. It was only once we got into 5Ds that Lightsworns really became a problem, and even then, it was mostly because of the ability to just infinitely summon synchro monsters using Lightsworn and graveyard mechanics that a lot of the decks just suddenly got access to. I still say that like the first half of 5Ds was actually a really good time for Yu-Gi-Oh! There was a lot of experimentation going around, and plenty of different decks were being played. But after like the first half of 5Ds, things just really started to falter. And by the end of Zeal, I was gone. And it sucks just because there are a lot of very interesting archetypes that Zeal was promoting that I actually think are really goddamn cool. Ixie summoning in particular is actually a really cool game mechanic. Thing is, a lot of the monsters that were attached to that game mechanic were just flat out broken.
Well, it's how you get people interested in the first place, is make them excited to use some stupid shit that's going to piss off all their friends.
Yeah. We're supposed to be talking about serious
it's okay.
Damn it.
We've seen this before. No, we haven't re-recorded this part. All I'm saying is we've seen this before. except this is new.
Yeah, this is one of the only times that the game tries to be unreal. And honestly, I like it when the game tries to be unreal. I mean, it's too goddamn dark, and the fog effect, although it's really cool, makes everything fucking invisible, including the invisible guys.
Oh, so there are invisible guys.
Yes, specifically there are two invisible, the Cyclopean humanoids that I forget what they're actually called. They spawn and are actually invisible.
Oh, nice. That's pretty creepy.
It's creepy, sure, but yeah, that's like one of the only times that those actually show up. I mean, they do show up on the harder difficulty modes, I believe, but I don't remember when. I thought this level was something totally different, but no, this is actually the pool level. Okay. I've not commented on it yet because honestly, from a lot of the time when I'm watching this footage, I'm reminded a lot of this is just mindless carnage that we're going through. It's really fun mindless carnage, sure, but there isn't really all that much to say other than, hey, we're still blowing up interesting enemy design with really cool weapons.
The sequence of the game with the puzzles and even this shit. Look. It's a cutscene. It's the reflecting pool of Jesus, I think.
No, we're still in Thebes, so this would be, given that it's such a large pool, we have three of the deities there. I'm pretty sure at least one of those is supposed to be Amon-Ra.